Hello, beautiful people. Today we're talking about the distributive property. So our essential question is, what is the distributive property? So a few things that we're going to do is, first, I want us to remember what the word distribute means, because we have definitely heard it before, but maybe not in the context of math. So when you distribute something, you give it out evenly. So like if I was at a birthday party and I was the one distributing cake, then I would make sure that each person who wanted cake got one piece of cake. So I'm distributing it, or I'm giving it out evenly. Okay, to give something out equally. So distributive property is where we take a number and we distribute it to each term inside a parenthesis. So, okay, and this is the textbook definition. Distributive property is multiplying each term inside the parentheses by the number on the outside. So basically, the number on the outside of a parentheses tells you how many groups you have, and the numbers inside are like a sum or a difference. So I'm going to give an example. So 3 times the quantity 7 plus 2. Now you could always simplify this and make that 3 times 9, but I'm going to show you how to do it with distributive property. So this 3 on the outside means 3 groups of. So if there are 3 groups of 7 plus 2, then distributive property tells me that there are 3 groups of 7. 3 groups of 7. Notice that's a multiplication. And, so I keep this addition, 3 groups of 2. 3 groups of 2. Okay, and that word of tells me to multiply. So distributive property takes the number on the outside, and it multiplies each term on the inside by it. So then I simplify it by doing 3 times 7 is 21. And, because there's an addition sign, 3 times 2 is 6. So 21 plus 6 is 27, which is exactly what we would have gotten if we had added the numbers on the inside together first and then multiplied by 3. So distributive property works because it takes the number on the outside and it just gives it to each of the numbers on the inside equally, like how you distribute something. It tells you how many groups of each there are. So my question would be, like, why would we use distributive property if you could just add the stuff on the inside? Why use distributive property? Okay. And the whole reason why we would use distributive property is because now we're in algebra, so we have variables. And remember, we can't change the variables. We don't know what they equal. So we have to use distributive property when we have variables. So here's an example with a variable. So let's say we've got 5 on the outside, or 5 groups of x minus 3. Okay, so a few things about this one. Just like on the last one, there's a number on the outside. This tells you the number of groups of. But notice it doesn't have a multiplication sign next to the parentheses. This is one of the 3 ways that we talked about that mathematicians show multiplication without putting the time symbol. So there is a little hidden time symbol here. It doesn't show up, but it is there. So anytime you see a number outside of parentheses, there's a multiplication sign. So this is 5 groups of, again. Groups of. So again, when we do this, I know that there are 5 groups of x minus 3, so there are 5 groups of x. 5 groups of x. So that's a multiplication. And then this time I've got a subtraction in the middle, so I'm going to keep the subtraction. And there are, again, 5 groups of 3. Okay, and then I simplify if I can. I don't know what x is, so this one stays the same because I don't know what x is. So this is 5 times x. And then I simplify the one on the right, so the subtraction stays. 5 times 3 is 15. And then I can't simplify it any further. This is as far as I go because I don't know what x is. There is no value there for x. If I'm given a value for x, then I can simplify even further. But right here, I don't have a value, so this is my final answer. 5x minus 15. Remember, variables are just placeholders. Variables are placeholders. Okay, next video.